Hello guys, how's it going? It's been a little while, hasn't it? I've not been up here for, well, properly a couple of months, but I did come up here and I cooked that squirrel. But yeah, I've not been up here for some time for a camp or anything. It's just been too hot. This weather has been mad. Been a bit of a heat wave, nearly 2 months worth, and it's literally just broken this last couple of days, and we've got some rain. So there's actually some puddles on the way up here, which was quite remarkable. Not seen them for a while. It's just been dust. Wanted to get up here today just to have a little mooch around, have a little look. As you heard me say before, I wanted to do something with this shelter. I think I've kind of decided to get rid of it. It's looking a bit tired. It was kind of thrown together in the first place and then improved upon over the months. But yeah, I think it's time for a new one. So I'm going to stay in this general area. I'm not going to use this tree. I'm going to give this area a bit of a rest, really tidy up the fire properly. And just let this kind of, you know, grow back a bit and move somewhere quite close by. I'm going to go for something a little more ergonomic. Sitting on this bed all the time, which is far too low, and just crouching below the tree there and everything, it does your back in after a while. And over them winter months where I spend a lot of time up here, I want to be comfortable and enjoy the time here. So I want something with some furniture, I suppose not too dissimilar to the chair I made up here, but just stuff that's full size. A full size shelter I can stand in and stuff like that really. I don't know if I'll do a raised bed or not. I might just bring like a bivvy or something like that and have a shelter for cooking in and chilling in and stuff like that. But yeah, we'll see. I want to crack on with that at the end of summer. It's probably the beginning of September, around then. In the meantime, I'll start taking this down and looking for materials and stuff. It's just been too hot. Even after this weather's kind of cracked, it's still hot. So what's going on with me? Well, it's been too hot really for me to be camping at the moment. I've been very busy with work as well, but it's just too hot. I don't enjoy camping in the heat so much. I did camp not too long ago on Who Island. That Who Fort video you saw, that was an overnighter, and that wasn't exactly the video that was meant to be, but we'll get to that in a bit. But yeah, last month I was just chock-block with travelling around the country, going to Norfolk again, Dartmoor, doing canoe trips, with this Who visit planned and everything. And this month I just kind of wanted to keep clear. It was clear that it was going to be hot. I was busy at work and I just wanted to just do a couple of other videos I kind of wanted to do in the meantime. But yeah, hopefully I'll get out soon for an overnighter though. One thing I wanted to talk about today was merchandising. A few people have asked over the last few months about merchandising stuff. Been looking into it and I've sorted a few things out. So you saw earlier on my backpack, I've got a nice embroidered patch with the Kent Invicta horse on it. So my logo with the outline of Kent. Hasn't got the wording on it. I think it's a bit small for wording, but it's a nice looking patch, very nicely embroidered. So I've ordered a bunch of them, so check them out. We've got stickers, had some stickers made up as well, similar to the ones I had before. And I've had some hip flasks made, so by my buddy Kev and Chrissy, you've heard them mentioned on the channel before. They've made us up some etched hip flasks, very nice indeed. You may see they made me one a while back, so I've had some commissioned, so they're going to be for sale as well. And finally some t-shirts. So the t-shirts I've not done myself, I've gone for a third party, so they're going to be linked separately. But yeah, check them out. There's a few variety of designs, or colours I should say. They've all got like the logo and Kent Survival on. They're pretty nice. I've ordered one myself. Wanted to check it out, make sure it was all sort of kosher and good. It's through Spreadshirt, but I'll link it through my website. So all of this is going to be via the website, which is kentsurvival.com. Link will be below if you want to click on that and be able to get your merchandise from now. Right, so the thing I alluded to earlier was our trip to Who. I thought I got odd bits of footage, and I thought I'll tell the story because it's quite interesting. Shows you what you kind of go through doing this sort of thing. First I think I'm going to need a cup of tea though. Right, so where was I? Yeah, I have brought with me some of the merch to show you. I've got the embroidered badge there. It's not a Velcro one, it's a sew-on one. And you've got the stickers there as well, the logo on. If you didn't see me using my one before, you've got the hip flask there. And I forgot to wear the t-shirt, so I'll have to show you a picture of it now. These are also available in white as well, and I think I'm going to do like a brown kind of coloured one like the logo is. Okay, and so on to the story, I guess. Stop putting it off. I kind of ummed and ahed about kind of saying this on video because you end up looking a bit stupid, but you learn from your mistakes. A few of these mistakes I foresaw as well, and you know, it's entertaining, I suppose. So we've been planning it. I mean, it's been on my bucket list for a while now, but been planning going to Who Fought for a while. Talked to IKS about going with them. Tom Outdoors, of course, who ended up coming with me and stuff like that. I was trying to arrange a boat because it's on an island. There's a couple of islands out there. There's also a U-boat out there that we wanted to see as well. It was hard organising all the same people. At the same time I was organising like Dartmoor trip and going canoeing and all of that business as well. So we kind of let it rest for a bit, and then we kind of just suddenly bought a boat. So we was getting a bit fed up with all that, and we wanted, like, you know, a hard shell boat, but we just couldn't really do it. Neither of us have got the room for it, and it's a lot of money to spend on something you're using for like a single purpose. But we kind of looked at inflatables. We bought a second-hand one. It was a 4-5 manner, quite big for just the two of us, but not really big enough for like 3-4 people if you're taking kit for a camp and that. Well, we knew this was not an ideal boat, but it's the best we had really, and we wanted to do it. Sometimes you just have to go for things. I went down there a couple of times beforehand, got some drone footage, both for the video and kind of checking it out, seeing what we're kind of up against. So it comes to the day. It's a very hot day, as it has been these last few weeks, and we get down there. We inflate the boat for the first time. I kind of took the guy at his word that it had no punctures. It did come with a kit, but it looked good in the pictures. He'd inflated it for the pictures on eBay, so it looked fine, and we inflated it and it was fine. So we're all good. We're quite close to where we're going to put in. I find wreckage like a good spot to put in, so it's not too far across the Medway. We put in, got all our gear on, and we're fine. So we start to paddle out. It's going quite well. We're kind of realising the boat is quite wide for 2 people, especially at the back. You could have done with 2 people at the back paddling, because you go into one corner and it kind of sinks down a bit, and it's quite hard position to kind of paddle in. So we're on either side, front and back. It's not the easiest, but we're getting out, and we kind of realise that we're not really heading upriver. The currents are kind of fighting us, and this inflatable boat isn't doing particularly well. So our plan was to go to Darnet Fort first, which is the further one, and then back to Who Fort and spend the night there. We quickly realised, looking at Darnet Fort, we're not going to make it there. So we start to paddle over to Who Island. We eventually make it over, but we're just not making any way up to the east side of the island, where the actual fort is. So after kind of looking at a few spots to kind of land the boat, it's too difficult, it's too inaccessible, and there's kind of this mesh around protecting kind of the foreshore from kind of erosion and that, and the boat just wouldn't handle that well. There's all sort of spiky bits of wire. So we decide to make our way around to the west side of the island, I guess it is, and use the currents to take us around. And I know there's a jetty on that side of the island, even though it's the complete opposite side of the island to the fort. And I think it's between 1 kilometre and 1 mile along this island. So we make our way around, and that goes quite well. So we find this jetty and we land the boat. We get it up, bit of work, but we do get it up there. And we decide, after a little bit of a rest, to make our way overland to the fort and take our gear, kind of take it from there. I thought this would be quite easy, looking at kind of images and kind of the drone footage and that, but when you're on the ground, it's a very different kettle of fish. It was very overgrown. It's a completely unmanned island. The grass is kind of a head high at times. There's brambles, there's fawns. We're getting bitten by mosquitoes and stuff because it's just so hot and kind of boggy as well. So we eventually make our way through all of that, and we find the fort. Not been there before, so we didn't really know how to get in. There's kind of a bit of a moat and that. So we have a bit of an explore around for about half hour to see if there's an easy way in. Eventually find a way in, and we're knackered at this point. It's taken us an hour to get there from the other side of the island, probably. We get our gear inside the fort itself. You know, there's no one around, so we're fine to leave it there, really. And we have to walk back because of the boat. We're walking back, that takes about half an hour in this heat. We're getting stung, we're getting bitten by horseflies by this point as well. We're a bit unimpressed, but at least we've got our gear there and we're on the island. Getting back to the boat, we kind of decide there's no way we're going to get the boat all the way across this island. It's too heavy, it's going to drag. We had a couple of dry bags we were carrying. They'd already got torn from all the fawns and stuff. So we get back to the boat. The water levels come right down. It's low tide by this point, and there's kind of mud flaps all around the island. Didn't want to be using it at low tide, but we could either leave the boat there, we couldn't carry it, or we could kind of paddle it around. Now I didn't really want to leave the boat there. To get off the island, it would have been easier to go off from the other end because of them currents we experienced before. We could have used them to get home again. So we put the boat back in, quite low the water at this point, and we're making our way around the kind of mud flaps around the kind of island on the north side, I guess. North side? No, south side it would be. Trying to picture it in my mind. And so we have to go quite far out to avoid all of the mud, and luckily the kind of river traffic's kind of died down a bit by this point. So we gradually make our way. We're getting quite close, and we did it quite well actually, much better than before. I guess the kind of water's receding, so we're kind of using that a bit. The closer we get though, we keep getting hung up on the mud. It's just the waves are taking us in, getting us on the mud. We're kind of punting ourselves off of it, and it was really hard work. That last little stretch took us twice as long as the rest. It was pretty hard. We weren't impressed by this point. So we keep getting in this mud. We get as close as we can over all this time of punting and everything, and we decide we're as close as we're going to get onto this mud. We get out, I've got my kind of canoe shoes, the neoprene ones on. Tom's got his waders on at this point because we'd been to the fort already. And we're making our way in with the boat, kind of pulling the boat, pushing the boat. And we have to stop because Tom started sinking. I guess these waders, they're pretty heavy. I'm kind of treading mud, trying to be as nimble as possible, but he's sinking, so trying to get free, he's sinking even more, which is not good, and that's the one thing that I was worried about on this island and why I wanted to keep to the high water. So the only thing he can do, I mean, he's between, well, I guess like 5 deep in this stuff, which is quite dangerous. The only thing he can do is, luckily, because they're waders, he can undo them, and he kind of goes backwards into the boat coming out of them waders. At this point, all of our other gear, wellies and stuff, are in the fort, so he's kind of stuck in his boat really. So I decide to go back to the fort from there, so, you know, that's 20 minutes, half hour in itself, get my boots, my wellies, to take them back out to him. Well, he manages in this time to get his waders out, and so we have a couple of minutes just to have something to drink and that, because we are knackered. So we go back to the boat. Getting out of the boat, we notice that there's just a ring of glass around the island, kind of, I guess, where the kind of tide comes to, and we know that this boat's not going to get over it, so we get as many bits of kind of plywood and stuff that's kind of washed up as possible, lay them down, and we're trying to get them across. Everything's, you know, caked with mud. This is hard work. And suddenly we hear worst nightmare in the situation. We've got a puncture, and we're like, let's just go for it. So we try to lift as much as possible and just kind of run as far as we could up to past the sort of high tide point. Not impressed. We find this slit in it. I'm suspicious that there's more than one at this point. And kind of our morale was right down, right down. So we sit down for a minute. This time, I didn't say, we put in at midday, probably just after midday. By this point, it's 8 in the evening. It's taken us that long just to get us, our gear, the boat, to the actual fort kind of location, or that end of the island. So it's not going well. We kind of decide our new priority is to get off of the island rather than kind of stay the night and that, because we're now on this island and we've got no means to get off of it. We try to clean the boat as much as we can because it's caked with mud. Get the puncture repair kit. It takes 12 hours to set, which I didn't realise, and the dirt on the boat and being wet and partially inflated, it wasn't even taking. So try out the T-Rex tape, like a gaffer tape that I've got. Doesn't want any of it either. I thought that'd be good, that stuff. Don't buy it. Yeah, so we can't repair this boat, so we have to sit down and have a think. One thing I know we're not going to do is call the emergency services, because we're not in immediate danger. We've got like 4 litres of water each, and that, I mean, it's hot, but you know, we can make it to the next high tide easily. So we're thinking about what to do. It's starting to get a bit dusky. There's a person fishing, quite far away because of the mud and that, as close to the island as they could get, I guess. And use my head torch, which has got the SOS on, start yelling as well. And the guy doesn't speak very good English, the one person we can contact. So I'm yelling at him, trying to get him to like, I'm asking him if he's out all night fishing, which he is. I'm asking him if he could come in and kind of take us ashore at the next high tide, which was 3 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know if he was just didn't want to, or if it's cross communications, but we kind of gave up on that. At the same time I'm doing that, Tom's reached out to a guy we know, Wilderness Nomad, another YouTuber who's been to the island before. So he's reached out to him and kind of talking to him. He's got his kids and that, and he can't get out, you know, overnight. So eventually it's worked out. He's going to come out the next day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. He's going to paddle out with a single-seater kayak and a double kayak. Just check the camera's still going, the microphone's in the way of the screen. So at this point we're like, okay, we're here now. You know, we're here for the next few hours at least, overnight. You know, it's 10 o'clock at night at this point, so we bivvy up, we get our bivvies and that, we cook some food, quickly discover outside of the fort, because we was in no mood to move all of our stuff back into the fort at this point because we'd already taken it out. It's quite hard to find some high ground to actually sleep on there because of the amount that the water comes in, all these channels on the island, and it's quite marshy and boggy. So we find this high point. I'm just a bit lower than Tom, and that's it, we're there for the night. About 3 o'clock in the morning, or 2:30 I guess, it was a bit before high tide, I get woken up by the kind of sloshing of water. I look outside my bivvy, trying to focus, and the water is probably that far below me, like over the bank. So I decide to move my stuff up, squeeze in next to Tom on the highest point of this bank. Luckily the water didn't actually come up any higher, that was about its highest, but I was glad I'd moved anyway. So yeah, we spend the night, sleep very well considering how hard the day before was, but wake up quite early because it's so hot and we're in these bivvies. Our morale was a bit higher in the morning. We had some breakfast, a bit of a chat and that, and we decide, well, we're there for the next few hours, so we may as well have a bit of an explore of the fort. So that's where I got the footage of the inside of the fort. We spent probably a couple of hours in there getting some footage. Really cheered us up to actually do what we went there for. And we get back out, we tidy up our gear and that, and we have to make our way to the side of the island, kind of where we originally wanted to land, in order to meet Wilderness Nomad, who's coming out, because he wants, you know, the easiest journey across really. So that's fair enough. Problem with that is there's so many water channels between the fort and that side of the island, and it's going to be sort of high tide when we're making our way over. So we get all our gear and everything. We go to make our way over. As we're walking away from the fort, we turn around and there's people on it. Someone's, while we've made our way out, has landed a boat on the other side and made their way into the fort. So, you know, sod's law at this point, Wilderness Nomad's already making his way over, so it's incidental really. But, you know, we could have got out. So we make our way around through all these channels, kind of bit of a maze. We eventually get to the foreshore, and we can kind of see him in the distance making his way over in the kayak, towing the other one. So eventually gets over, ever thankful to him for that, but that's not really the end of it. So I've got my dry bag, the one I took on the canoe trip, quite a robust one. Tom's got his what do they call them, Gordon Alp Kit dry bag, and all our other gear. So because I've got a bit more paddling experience now at this point, I decided to get in the single manner. Tom goes in with Wilderness Nomad in the two-seater, and because there's no room, because there's no room on the single seater, we have to put all our gear on the two-manner, kind of strap it down and everything. So, you know, it's quite top heavy, being like a ride-on kayak. So we try to make our way around the bottom of the island to the smallest distance to the to the mainland. Getting used to this little kayak, eventually get over there, wait for the others so we can make our way across together. And as soon as we're about to make our way across the Medway, the two-manner capsizes. I guess it was just too top heavy and that, and you got the waves and everything. So I quickly grab what I can that's kind of floated away. Most of it's strapped down. I'm looking at the kayak and I'm like, oh my god, I've got over £1,000 worth of camera gear in that bag. I hope it holds up. Tom's in the water. He's got his waders on, and in the pocket inside he's got like his phone and that, and it's all got wet. I feel so bad for him. Any footage he got he's lost. I think he lost some footage from a previous couple of videos as well that was still on the phone. I mean, he lost some other bits as well. A bag that went down had my tripod in, got a new one now, and it had his monopod which had his action camera on as well, so that's at the bottom of the Medway. So feel so bad for him. Right the kayak, put some of the stuff that's kind of drifted off back onto it, and we make our way across to the mainland. Goes without a hitch. Get everything on land. I look at my dry bag, I open it up slowly, I look inside, and it's bone dry. It's done really well, because them things you have to kind of fold over the top so many times, and it was quite stuffed, so I was a bit worried, but everything was fine in it, so I was really thankful for that. And Tom's Alp kit, Gordon, let in water, so a lot of his clothes and that got wet as well, so bear that in mind if you're looking at them Alp kit Gordons. Probably good in the rain, but being submerged, like his was properly wrapped over and everything. So yeah, lucky I had that really robust kind of PVC type one. But yeah, so we get back to land. Obviously we left the boat over there. I hate to leave stuff, you know, litter as it is, but this was kind of a real kind of situation, a real emergency to get off that island. There was no way to get it back. Yeah, so that's why at the end of that video I say it was hard work to get that footage. Lessons learnt. I mean, there were things I knew already. I wanted to go at high tide, and I just underestimated how that boat would kind of cope in them waters. But it was the only thing we could do, and we really wanted to get over there. Would I do it again? No. Certainly not in that manner. I'd use a hard shell boat. I'd go at high tide, you know, something that cuts through water better than one of them big dinghies. But yeah, it was an experience. I'm glad I got over there. It took it out of me. It really did. So that's why there's no camping video of that particular adventure. At least I got a video out of it. Feel bad for Tom who didn't, but we both got to experience it. We'd like to go to Darnet Fort at some point. Maybe even see the U-boat in the kind of muddy waters as well. Muddy waters. But yeah, that was my adventure. So I thought I'd tell the story. Yes, I know I did some things wrong, but you know, you can't always be perfectly prepared for every situation. Sometimes you have to use what you have to kind of go for it. Luckily we had enough water and everything. We were planning on spending the night, so you know, we was never really in any danger other than when I suppose Tom was in the mud, slowly sinking. But both survived, and yeah, a tale to tell, whether I should or not. Yeah, I think my tea's gone cold now. So, thanks for bearing with me with that story. I know it's quite long. I'm not really used to talking to camera to that degree. I usually only talk about what I'm doing at the time. So yeah, check out that merch if you're interested, if you still think I'm a survivalist. I survived that one, just. And yeah, I hope to get out and do some more interesting stuff soon. As I say, it's been too hot for me, for having campfires and building camps and stuff. I'd die. That's going to happen in September. I'll get some camps in soon though. There's a couple of things I want to do, more simple ones, but we'll get building a new camp soon. Thanks for watching. Good to see you all again, and I'll see you on the next one hopefully. Goodbye for now.